Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. If you're new, welcome back. Of course, if you aren't, appreciate you coming out and hanging out with me. Appreciate you supporting the YouTube channel. Really fun video ahead of us here. This is a little bit different than what you're used to. It's not a highlight video. It's going to be a challenge video. So I'm setting myself a challenge for October 31st, 2021. And the deadline for the end of the challenge, May 31st, 2022. I'm calling it the road to WSOP 2022. What does that mean? Well, I think you guys can kind of clue in on the title, but if you guys want to learn a little bit more about the finer details of what this challenge is going to be, stay tuned. Watch the video. And while you're at it, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, ding, especially if you want to help support the YouTube channel and watch it grow. That's the best way to do it. It helps game the algorithm, helps grow the YouTube video and the YouTube channel. And then, of course, while you're at it, come check out my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/DramaticDegen. That's where I will be streaming this challenge 5 days a week, hopefully more, from about Thursday to Monday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time onwards. Really excited about this. I've never done this in my streaming career, so this is going to be a really fun goal to strive towards. I think you guys are going to really enjoy following along on the journey. I'm very amped, so I think you guys will like this. Enough from me. Enjoy the video. But we'll do like a little rough talk. So I've been thinking a lot about what I want to do with my stream, right? I want to talk about goals, okay? I want to talk about goals, and I want to talk about the next chapter of my streaming career and my poker career and what I want to do with it. And, you know, I think this will be really fun for you guys to tag along with. And I want you guys to be involved. I want to be like, you know, transparent and share with you guys what is on the table for this channel and this community over the next 6 months. So if you guys are willing to hear me out, want to keep hanging out with me now for the next, I don't know, probably won't be longer than 30 minutes, I think, then stick around. Let's talk about the last 2 years of my streaming career, okay? So we've got 2019, the best year of my poker career. Made 6 figures. I think I made almost 200K in 2019 alone. Not only from winning that 6-figure score for whatever it was, I think 105K, but I finished second in a 1K Power Fest for 25K. I finished second in another 1K Power Fest for 35K, both of which I got in on a 109 satellite. I finished second in a 55 to 530 phase tournament for another 35K. And then I think I had 3 or 4 other like high 4-figure to low 5-figure scores scattered throughout the year. So I just had an amazing year. I couldn't lose, basically. I think I had like 1 losing month out of that entire year, from January 2019 to December 2019. All of this happening while I'm in New Zealand, and then my father has a stroke, and then I have to move back to Canada to go help my family out, and then I find a new apartment in Vancouver and settle down. It was an amazing year, chaotic year. You know, my father's fine. He's totally in good health. But it ended up on a really good note where we could all have a smile, right? Things are looking bright. Everything's looking really good. My future is really promising. Exciting, really exciting. I find a really nice apartment in Vancouver. That's a little bit over my budget, but a risk worth taking. And I knew it was a risk, but I still took it because I thought if I can keep going on this road that I'm going on with poker, then it'll pay off. January of 2019, we're off to a good start. I finished 5th in the same tournament that I won 6 figures in for, I think I got 20K for that. I had 10% of Patrick, aka Egyptian, who banked a tournament for, I think he banked it for like $250,000. I don't remember, but I got somewhere between 10 and 15K for it. So maybe it was a little bit less than that. I know I got 5 figures for it. So in total that month, and then on top of that, my best friend Alex also banked a tournament for 60K, and I had 15% of that. So like January of 2020, I have like a $35,000 month. I'm like, all right, sweet. 2020 is going to be as good as 2019. It's going to be my bitch. This is dope. Then the pandemic starts to set in, particularly in China, and all of a sudden poker seems to be getting softer in February and March. That's because there's a ton of new Chinese players coming in, and filling up the fields, making all the prize pools inflated. And I'm excited. I'm losing, but I'm like, that's all right. You're going to have losing months. That's totally fine. And then the lockdown happens in March and April. And the poker landscape completely changes. It like takes a total 180. It feels like it's 2011 again. It's just like crazy soft, tons of fish from all over the world who have nothing to do better with their time than to just play poker at home until they're allowed to go back to work again. And it's really, really exciting, but I can't fucking win. I just couldn't win. I think in April, I finished minus 25K. And then in May, I think I finished minus 15K. And June, it continued to just be losing more and more and more. Not as big as it was before, but I was losing. And I was losing quite a lot. There's a time in between May and June where I took like 3 weeks off to kind of like reset myself, not think about poker and just rest up. But it didn't really help at all because I was at home and I wasn't able to go out. I wasn't able to go and enjoy my life and enjoy the city like I had wanted to. That was the biggest reason why I went back to Vancouver, was so that I can see all my friends again and explore the city again and like afford to be able to, you know, go for drinks and go out for dinner and check out plays and music and all that kind of stuff, right? Which I had skipped out on a lot in my younger years because I was so broke. So I just stayed home and kind of like wallowed a little bit in my own anxiety from the fact that I was swinging so hard. I think I didn't realize it back then, but I realize now that I think I was a lot more depressed than I led myself on to believe that I was. And I think that really had a huge impact on the quality of my play. And I also had an ego because I was making so much money that I was just like, okay, so I could probably beat $100 ABI right now. Let's just keep doing that. And I did, and I kept doing it, and nothing changed. I continued to go down. I continued to downswing. I think out of all of 2020, I had 3 winning months. Now that can be standard variance. That's definitely, there's variance at play there. But there's also like a big part of it is just going to be skill. I think I was playing games that I probably had a slight edge in. Not like a 20 to 30% ROI type edge. It was like a 5 to a capped 10% ROI. And my ICM knowledge was not very good either. So I was probably just like burning a lot of money at that point, which is very, very disappointing, but I'm glad I learned it now. On top of that, I had really, really bad spending habits. So the big thing for me was, because I was spending so much time at home, I got into the bad habit of ordering takeout, lots of delivery and takeout. Like there were a few months where I was like literally getting Uber Eats like 3 times a day. I think when I do the rough math, I probably spent somewhere between $15,000 and $25,000 last year on Uber Eats and pizza delivery, which is terrible, right? All I had to do was just like cook from home, and I'm spending significantly less than that. So I lost a lot of money. And around the time where I'm trying to consider whether or not I'm going to keep staying in the apartment that I'm living at, my boy here, Steve, he calls me up and says, I got an extra room. I have a newly renovated house that I just bought. I'll rent out this room to you. No lease, no safety deposit. Stay as long as you want. All right, sweet. And it's literally 60% less than the bills that I was paying in my apartment. So yeah, just bleeding money everywhere, in poker, in, like I said, in delivery and Uber Eats, and you know, I had subscriptions to everything. I bet you I was spending probably around $500 a month in subscriptions, from like streaming services to poker services to video game services. Yeah, I mean, I bet you my monthly expenses were somewhere in the $4,000 range. Probably more, actually, if I spent 15 to 20,000. Yeah, probably more like $5,000 a month range. So like the money was just disappearing. 15K in Ubers, that's depressing. Yeah, dude, it was bad. I was depressed, and I have a really bad addiction to food, and the depression just increased the addiction rate for me. It just got worse and worse. And I knew that it was a bad thing to do, but I couldn't help myself. I really had no self-control. So I go, okay, I need to turn things around. I need to put a stop to this. So my friend lets me rent this room, which is great. The home is beautiful. It's a really, really nice house. Got a nice backyard. It's walking distance from everything that I need, so I don't have to have a car. And it's close to my parents and my brother, which is really nice because I'm very, very close to my family. So I get to see them a lot more often, which is great. So all right, move here. Stop ordering Uber Eats. You can't do Uber Eats in this town, so that's a huge plus. We move here, January of 2021 of this year. And I don't want to talk about like bankroll specifics because people get really, really toxic and overly critical about stuff. But I'm at a bankroll point that's a little bit struggle city, right? Just a little bit. Oh, I should also mention that I left party poker last year as well, so that didn't help either, not having like a steady income outside of poker. So keep grinding this year, and so far this year has been break even or losing, despite the fact that I've actually moved down in stakes by, well, I was $125 average buy-in this time last year, and now I'm a $40 average buy-in. So, and I'm still losing now. Am I on the bad side of variance this year? More so than I was last year, 100%. And the biggest reason is because of my win rate. When you look at your EV/BB 100, now that's not the biggest indicator of things, but I am beating everything that I'm playing by 6 or 7 big blinds, which is really, really nice. It needs to be a lot higher, but I am crushing these games basically. I don't have the results to show for it right now though, unfortunately. So I have to keep putting out the volume, and good things will happen. I need to make some adjustments. I once again need to solidify my blind versus blind game. I need to be more aggressive. I need to get better post flop because my post flop sizings are really, really off. You think you're really unlucky? No, I think to say that I'm unlucky would, I really don't like the idea that like my success and my failure is completely outside of my control. So to put any blame on, or to put too much blame on luck, I think is like a really, really terrible route to go down. I think it's fine to give yourself a little bit of leeway and put some acknowledgement on bad luck. But I think we all have a lot to work on, right? And I have a lot to work on. Like if I'm beating a $40 ABI at 6 big blinds per 100, then there's a lot of room to grow because I should be beating it at 10 big blinds 100, right? So yeah, I'm taking responsibility. That's a big part of this discussion, is I'm taking responsibility. So luckily, at about the end of first quarter of this year, I came across the ACR Starmers program, and they have a really, really good program that has helped me out a lot with staying afloat while I try and grind and get better as a poker player. I'll share it with you. So this is all public information. Basically what it is it's a style of affiliate marketing where they pay you based off of your hours watched monthly, and it's a tiered system. So there's different tiers for how many hours of watch time your channel accumulates each month. Those guys that don't know what watch time is, that's an hour watched per viewer. So if there's 100 viewers on your channel and they watch for an hour, that's 100 hours of watch time put onto your channel stats. It's tiered to this right here. So level 1, 15 tournament bucks for every 100 viewed hours, plus 25 bonus tournament bucks for 1,000 viewed hours, and then it goes up and up and up. It's capped at level 6, which is 3,000 tournament bucks for 10,000 viewed hours. Luckily, my channel does well enough that I alternate between level 5 and level 6. 1,500, level 5 is 1,500 tournament bucks for 5,000 viewed hours. Now the rule is, if you finish the month under 10,000 hours, so let's say I have 9,900 hours at the end of the month, it goes down to level 5. So it's really, really important to get over the 10K mark. I get there probably like every other month on average. I got there this month, so thank you very much for supporting me this month, guys. It's great. I think I hit 12,000 hours this month, so that's pretty awesome. Guaranteed that 3K. that's kept me afloat for the most part. Selling action as well with a markup has helped a lot. So to all you guys who have bought action on stakings, I appreciate that. I hope to do you guys right by, you know, continuing to crush games and make some money for you guys later on. It hasn't been great for me this year. We've had some ups and downs. We've had some highlights. We've also had some lowlights. I want this to be a lot more consistent. So I'm really going to make some pretty significant changes to my life to make sure that these positive changes are implemented in the necessary way. Really appreciate you opening up about a topic like that on stream. No words for it. I have problems to talk about my shit even when it's really close. Well, I've thought a lot about this for the last couple of months, and I've talked to friends about it and really taken a lot of consideration about this, because I know that when I make this public, I'm going to get a lot of hate, especially from people who remember my stream back in 2017 when I had to quit because I went broke, right? And they're just going to come back and go like, oh, you're going to go broke again, yada, yada, yada. Like, I'm totally expecting that whole diatribe. So I just kind of decided, you know what, like, this is part of the life. Some of the best poker players in the world go broke many, many times. I'm just gonna like be open about this to a degree. I'm not going broke, but I'm at a point now in my career where I need to like really make a push for things and like strive to be the person that I know that I can be and I want to be, or I need to move on to something else. And you guys kind of heard me briefly talk about that last year, but now I'm real about it. Now I'm real about it. So I found a really, really fun goal that I think is going to help me with that. And it stems from FOMO. It stems from fear of missing out, okay? All of this has been inspired by FOMO. I was obviously going to miss out on the World Series of Poker for several reasons. Biggest reason was COVID. I just didn't think it was the right time to have the World Series, and I didn't want to put myself at risk. Even though I am vaccinated and everything, I was like, nah. On top of that, it's a really expensive endeavor in general. And I don't really have the bankroll to be able to do it. I would have to sell really huge pieces of myself to make that happen. And then on top of the fact that they tax Canadians 30% for cashes over $5,000, I just knew it just wasn't going to be a profitable endeavor for me. So I decided to do a little bit of creative visualization. After like the first week of the World Series of Poker, my FOMO was insanely high, higher than I actually expected it to be. And I thought, well, let's do something creative. Why don't we make a schedule pretending like the World Series of Poker is coming up, and we're making a schedule of tournaments we want to sell for and we want to play, assuming we went to Vegas for a month. So I just basically took the schedule that was going on in Vegas now and pretended it was, you know, for next year or whatever. And this is about 30 days worth of poker. Some World Series stuff, Golden Nugget stuff, Orleans stuff, Win stuff. I didn't even include the Aria or the Venetian. So there's even more than this. But I figured this was a pretty good, like, starting off point. Some really good World Series games. I don't think there's anything higher than a $1,500 buy-in here. $1,600 buy-in, I guess I should say, with some of the fall classics and stuff. I did include some 2Ks and some 3Ks, but I was like, you know what? Let's just keep it manageable for now. Lots of really, really good games, though. And then on top of this, I'll be playing cash. I'd love to play 2-5 while I'm there. And satellites. The sit and go satellites there are just like unbelievably soft. Just insanely soft. Like baby food soft. On top of the fact that they have like last longers at every single table and stuff. Like there's so much money to be made from satellites. So there's a lot of grinding that can be done outside of the schedule. But I figured this is a good starting off point. About 50K in buy-ins. 51,800 in buy-ins here. So I went, okay, well, how much would I sell? What would I sell for? And how much and what markups and stuff. And this is all subject to change. This is all kind of a rough outline. But I went, okay, well, I would probably sell something like 35% of 1Ks to 1600s. I always reserve 15% for my best friend Alex. So I would sell basically 50%. I sell to Alex 15% every day of everything that I play with no markup. So, but let's just take Alex out of the equation. Somewhere around here, everything below 1K, I can definitely keep more of myself just because I have more of an edge. We sell this at like a 1.2 markup. The 1K to 1.6Ks would be at a, I think I decided 1.1 markup. Let's see. Yeah, 1.1. So we'd sell about 16K. So my share, I'd need to have roughly 35,000 of my own cash to be willing to be ready to play. Rent, this is like for Airbnb. I just asked a couple of friends how much they're paying for rent, and it seems like for like a 4-bedroom place, it's like around 10 to 12K, I think. So I just went like, all right, I'll overshoot, assuming that maybe I might have to rent on my own or something. Obviously I'll try and share with some friends, but I just overshot and I was like, let's go with 5K. Obviously I'm going to try and do cheaper, maybe 3K, maybe 4K. Groceries is going to be around 400 a week, I'm guessing. Once again, overshooting, hardcore, but I'm kind of like including having to eat on the strip, that kind of thing. Uber, 2.5K. 2.5K Uber? Yeah, because I mean, I'm going to have to get rides to, let's just pretend that the World Series is at the Rio. I know it's going to be somewhere else, but just for this conversation's sake, let's pretend it's going to be at the Rio. So, to the Rio and back home from the Rio. But then, of course, we're going to do more cab rides between the Rio and the Wynn and the Aria and Planet Hollywood, all that kind of stuff. Before you know it, you've spent, you know, several $100s a day sometimes. So over a 30-day period, 2.5K is pretty, sounds like it makes sense. Obviously, this is a little bit of an overshoot once again, because you'll do some ride sharing and you'll walk from casino to casino and that kind of thing. But I'd rather overestimate than underestimate. It's announcement time. Yes. Think you have to increase your luxury costs? Have to get them escorts part of it? Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, I take this one the least serious because I know that like in Vegas, I'll want to spend probably a good 95% of my time grinding. And if I'm not grinding, I'm resting. I don't want to party. But if things go really, really well, whether that's with me or with a close friend who I care about, if they win something huge, I'm going to go want to celebrate with them. So I'll give myself some leeway. I wouldn't mind checking out like a Vegas Knights game, maybe a Raiders game, depending on what time of year it is. You know, go maybe if there's a really cool show I want to check out, go see that. Go to a club if things go really well. I don't want to. I'm too old for that shit. I don't care about clubbing and all that kind of stuff. I don't care about partying anymore. But you never know. Have the contingency in place because you never know. Cheaper to rent a car maybe for $2,500. Maybe. I don't know if I feel comfortable with driving in a big city like Las Vegas though. And then you also have to think about the fact that like you have to pay for parking every day too. That probably ends up equaling out to similar to what an Uber is. So once again, these are overshoots. It could be significantly less. Uber could be $1,600 a month in the month. Sorry, you got to remember this is only for 1 month of grinding, right? It's not going to be there for 6 months or something. But this is kind of all guesstimates, like little, you know, windows. It could be a scale, right? But I'd rather overshoot. And then travel, 2,000. I think it's probably going to be significantly less than that. But once again, I'll overshoot. You know, I could probably get a plane ticket with return for less than $1,000, I bet. But you never know. Especially maybe if I order tickets last minute and all that kind of stuff. Like your stream, buddy. You seem pretty down to earth and honest. Wish you the best of luck in the future. I appreciate that, mate. So you want to simulate like you're there. Yeah, I'm doing some creative visualization. I was just like, I need to be at the World Series next year. After like day 10 of Wsop this year, seeing all my friends having so much fun and grinding hard and making money and stuff, I was like, I need to be there next year. I need to be there. I haven't been to the World Series in 5 years. And 5 years ago when I went, I barely had any money to play in the first place. So it wasn't really like a full-on experience that I want to have. So I kind of created my own little personal simulation here. What I would need to go next year. I figured this would probably be the goal, assuming that the World Series is in June 2022. I would need about $50,000 bucks. Roughly this. to be able to play all those games that I listed, to be able to afford the expenses. I would need that to be comfortable. And then I put it away. I put the sheet away. I didn't touch it for a couple of weeks. And I got a stream coach by the name of Loco. So if any of you guys are aspiring streamers, I highly recommend you check out Loco. She's also a streamer, but she likes to do some stream coaching on the side, and just kind of like went through some ideas with her. And it inspired me to kind of ask around and find some other inspiration. And she gave me some ideas, and that was nice. She said some narrative-driven content would do you good. I went, that's a great idea. What would be my narrative? And then I went and asked my friends. I asked Krista Borg, who's in the chat right now. I asked Henry, I asked Pav, and I asked Egyptian. I said, what am I missing right now? I didn't ask Alex because we had already had a pretty serious conversation that he was kind of telling me, it doesn't matter, but found some inspiration from him. And I asked the guys, I was like, what am I missing? What am I missing? What am I doing wrong? Why am I not where you guys are at? Like, be honest with me. I'm totally open to it. I won't take it as an insult. Tell me what you think. And they all gave me really, really well thought out, well written out responses. And a big common theme amongst all of their answers was there's not much for people to root for me for anything. I'm just grinding. And as fun as that is, I'm not grinding the stakes that everybody else is grinding. So it's harder for people to be interested. So what's the narrative are you going to do? Are you going to do a bankroll challenge? And I was like, I don't want to do a bankroll challenge. That doesn't really interest me that much. Are you going to do like 100 streams in 100 days or whatever, like some other guys do? I don't really want to do that. I'll get exhausted. I'll get sick of it. I want to enjoy it. You know, what am I going to do here? You know? And Henry and we were talking, and I can't remember how it came up, but I was like, I've been thinking, like, I really want to go to the World Series next year. Why don't I make a goal to get $50,000 profit so I can go to Vegas next year and play the World Series of Poker? That's not a bankroll challenge, but it's kind of similar, and it's a lot of fun, and it motivates me. Like, in my core, this kind of a goal motivates me because I haven't had this type of a run in a long time, and I know I'm capable of making this type of a run because I've made it in the past. Why don't I do this? Sweet. We found ourselves a narrative for the stream, and it's a really fun goal to achieve, and I think it's something that everybody can root for. Awesome. So this is going to be the goal between now and May 31st of 2022. I'm going to try and make $50,000 profit. I'm not going to go from 0 to 50 or like tell you guys what my bankroll is, because I'm going to be pretty aggressive with my bankroll management, like very swingy. It's going to be actually even really risky. I don't think this will really make or break me, but it will be risky. And we're going to try and make $50,000 profit between now and the end of May. And if we make $50,000 profit, we will be going to Vegas, and I'll obviously make some good content out of that. And we'll play as much World Series of Poker as we can. And hopefully we make some deep runs to the point that we can play some of the higher stakes games, because I think I can beat some of the 2Ks and the 3Ks as well. Well, anyway, let's just keep going down this. So, as I said, $50,000 before the end of May, right? So off of that, I need to think about what my current expenses are, right? Obviously. So I pay roughly $800 a month in rent, roughly $150 a month in utilities. Phone bill, I think I can significantly decrease. I think I'll get rid of my data plan and just go down to $25 a month. That'll help. Groceries, about $125 a week, I think is roughly decent. I think I could save a lot more if I just start going a little bit more strict on like chicken and rice, that kind of a thing. Subscriptions, $30 a month, which is not that bad. I have like 2 Twitch subscriptions and 2 streaming service subscriptions, but I'll probably get rid of those. Then extra is $150 a month, and that's for like, I still order pizza once a week, and I'll go to Tim Hortons every now and again. But once again, this is something that we can eradicate. Both of these we could eradicate. So I'm going to work on that discipline. The fact that I went from ordering Uber Eats 3 times a day last year, every single day for 6 months, to now I'm ordering pizza once a week is a huge improvement. And I'm giving myself a pat on the back for that. But we can do better. So I'm going to try and work really hard to get rid of these expenses right here. And I'm going to actually start keeping more stricter monitoring on my expenses. I make 2 YouTube videos a week, and it costs me about $100 per video, so that's $800 a month. I'm probably gonna cut this down to 1 video a week just for now, until things start picking up a little bit more. So that'll cut it even more. So like, let's say this is 400, and we cut this out, so we can cut down our expenses by quite a bit. But we'll just keep this for now. Do you currently separate your life roll versus bankroll? No, not really. Can't really afford to right now. That'll make a big difference, especially for a challenge like this. Yeah, I mean, the thing is like, I'm going to, this is not just going to be poker oriented. So like, whatever I make from sponsors, whatever I make from subs, whatever I make from like side income, maybe I start poker coaching again, that's all going to go towards the 50K that I want to get to make it to Vegas. So a lot of my expenses that I get here are going to come out from the $3,000 a month that I'm going to get from ACR. So that's helpful. So there'll be a little bit of a separation from bankroll to life expenses. But hopefully I can get this down to $1,800 to $1,500 a month. That way I can still keep half of this payment in my bankroll. Add it to my bankroll. Add it to the 50K, right? This is an overshoot. This is a significant overshoot here. This is what I could assume to make on average per month if I'm swinging properly. My highest ROI right now is on ACR. I'm going to reset my stats to tomorrow because that's when this challenge is going to start, is tomorrow. But just a really, really rough, if I'm playing 750 games a month, which is what I've been averaging at a $42 ABI, at a 30% ROI, which I think is actually like very much achievable. Difficult, but achievable. I can make $6,000 a month. So my net after my expenses, I could make $6,500 a month. So I think that ends up, if I do the math, this is what, 7 months between now and the end of May. Is short. I'm totally off there. So we're definitely going to have to like push it as much as we possibly can. So I'm going to need to find more sponsors. I'm going to need to win at a higher win rate than I currently am. And I'm going to need to move up in stakes by the halfway mark. Did I do 5 months? Oh, shit. Okay, so we get pretty close. But regardless, I'm still going to want to do those things. Sponsorships. So if I can get a better sponsor from ACR at some point, that'd be awesome. If I can get sponsorships elsewhere, not competing with ACR, but like other products, that'd be great. Up my affiliate sales. Try and do maybe some sub challenges where like if I get to certain subscriber goals, I'll do some giveaways. And then of course, like I said, if I can move up in stakes at some point or another, I think that would make a huge difference. Of course, the swings will be a little bit greater though, so I got to be careful. I got to find that middle ground, right? So this is kind of the monthly goal. We need to also be aware of the fact that MTTs are crazy. So we could start this challenge on November 1st, or actually October 31st is when we're going to start. And then for the next 8 weeks, not make any money playing poker. But then for the 8 weeks after that, we can make all the money that we lost back and then 4 months worth of profit by just banking off some sick tournament, right? It's really crazy. So let's just like kind of be prepared for that, all right? One suggestion, I made loads of money saved by joining the gym and working my ass off. I needed to lose a bit of weight and gain back muscle strength. Food costs have gone down massively. No beer, going out costs, which have been super win-win. Not trying to do that forever, just trying to get into a better place both physically and economically. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have a little makeshift gym in our backyard, so I'm going to be working out from there. You should def add a challenge command, add a counter to your stream UI, and maybe add like a daily sub goal counters or something. You can start small with a 5 sub goal on the Daisy stream. Yeah, I've already, I'm way ahead of you on that. I was talking to Krista Borg about it. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a progress bar. I'm not sure what the progress bar is going to be yet because, yeah, but I'm going to have a progress bar. And I'm thinking we'll probably do monthly updates, I think. Maybe we could do little mini weekly updates and then one long monthly update and then a quarterly update. This is all a little bit rough because I didn't have time to plan it this week. But I am gonna get Jason to make me a progress bar, and we're gonna throw that in the overlay at some point for sure. But this is kind of the end goal at the end of each month, is hitting something along these lines. It's going to be hard. It's going to involve me not taking too many days off, but also making sure that I'm properly well rested mentally. I'm also going to probably hire a mental coach just to get me prepared, not only for the work that I have laid out ahead of me over the next 7 months, but also so that by the time Vegas comes around, I'm prepared to also crush in Las Vegas. Like, just really be ready all the way around, right? Weekly updates, transparency will keep you accountable, make people want to tune in. I know it will for me. Thanks, man. Yeah, for sure. That's the plan. That's the plan. I figure like Saturdays are really, really good because that's when UFC is. Every Saturday we watch fights, and then we do a weekly update and then a monthly update. Only negative it will increase is the amount of idiots that come in and say, "What's your BR, bro?" Yeah, and I'm not going to talk about bankroll. You guys can make whatever guess you want, and I'm not going to affirm it. I'm not going to deny it. I'm just going to ignore you guys. What we're going to do is just completely keep track of profit, net profit. So my own profit that's going to go in my pocket after I've paid out investors, after I've paid for my expenses, that kind of a thing. All right, that's the game plan. And that's what the progress bar is going to be for. And that's also why I'm including stuff like the income I'm going to make off of ACR, the income I'm going to make off of Twitch, all that kind of thing. So that's the plan. Your UFC bet profit. Yeah, totally. And I mean, honestly, I really do think that there's an ROI to be had betting on UFC. So I'm just going to continue making tweaks and learning about being profitable with sports betting and making small bets so that Saturdays are kind of like a substitute for poker. And I think I could probably make like anywhere between $200 to $500 a week on average betting UFC. I just got to be careful and not bet too rashly. There's a lot to learn from the bets that I made today that I need to learn from and move forward with. There's also just some unlucky spots, you know, like I think the Jan Blachowicz bet was fine. I think the Sandhagen bet was fine. I think I needed to bet differently on Islam and on Volkov. You know, that one with the bad referee was unlucky because we bet big on that guy to win by stoppage and it went to decision when it should have been a stoppage, all that kind of stuff, right? Push yourself, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just have fun while getting this WSOP goal done. No matter what, you will come out great. Yeah, and here's the thing about this, right? I don't really stand to lose much. So the worst case scenario that comes out of this situation, obviously, knock on wood, is that I go broke. That I go too hard and I go broke before it's too late, or before it's ready to go. But chances are, if I fail at this goal, I'm still gonna have 25K profit or 30K profit or whatever, and maybe I can do like a half distance trip to Vegas. Maybe instead of three weeks or 4 weeks, I do 10 days to 2 weeks instead. Or maybe instead of going to Vegas, I go and play a you know, whatever live event is going on in Montreal. Usually in May, there's a big live event in Montreal, you know. And the stream grows. So my stream benefits, it gives me more opportunity to maybe get sponsorships. And then I can just reset my goal and go, okay, like what's the next goal? Maybe the goal is to go play WSOP Europe and like go do a Euro trip in fall of next year and do that instead, you know, like just restart and go, okay, well, let's do 50K by next fall. And then we do something else. Like I don't stand to lose much. I stand mostly to gain. Best case scenario is we do more than 50K. I'm able to play higher games or keep bigger pieces of myself. And we've got some great content for Vegas. So the big key for me is going to be staying on top of my studies. I'm going to need to study more than I have ever before. I'm going to need to stay on top of my volume. So I'm going to need to be consistent and focused on my day-to-day grind and not, there's some games I don't take seriously enough, and I need to take them as seriously as I would any other game that I'm playing. I need to be on top of my mental. So that's like daily journaling, getting rest, eating clean, working out, you know, mental coaching, that kind of a thing. And I'm going to need to make sure that I play as many of the important games as I can. So that means like not missing out on any series, especially like even games like Micro Millions, playing the big field MTTs on some days. So like even like the $6 25Ks and the $11 storms, and finding the games that have good ROI that will help me break even. So playing those 2K guarantees, those 4K guarantees, as long as they don't get in the way of some of the bigger prize pool games, because those are going to be what makes me my profit. The smaller field games are going to what makes me my ROI, if that makes any sense. This challenge starts tomorrow, October 31st, and we're going to do this all the way until May 31st. I'm hoping to make regular Instagram and TikTok content, a little bit of Twitter content. I'm going to try and do YouTube videos, but like I said, it's only going to be about once a week. If I can help it, I'll try and do twice a week, depending on how things are going poker-wise. And you guys will be seeing me continue to stream 4, 5, 6 days a week. The closer I can get to 6 days a week, the better. But I'm not going to let myself burn out and end up burning money in the process. So we're going to find that balance. I think this is going to be really, really good for the channel. I think this is going to be really, really good for my personal growth and for my game and for my profits. And I think this is going to be what I need to take myself to the next level so that I can quit stagnating like I have for the last basically 2 years. Because I'm getting old, man. Like, I don't have a whole lot of life skills. I can't just go ahead and have a completely new career change without having to go up another hill. And I love what I do. This is my passion. So I need to turn things around, and I need to start putting the pedal to the metal here, or there's really no point in continuing. And I'm more than happy to do that. And I think this will be a really great challenge to help me get towards achieving that goal. So that's what we got going for us for the next 7 months, chat. I've been wanting to share this with you guys for about a week or so, and it seems like you guys are really, really stoked about this, as stoked as I am. I think it's going to be good content. The first week is going to be a little bit rough, like getting the progress bar, like Leonidas was saying, and like getting the sub goals and stuff. But that is something that I'm going to be putting into my stream over the next week. I'll make a little Nightbot command day to day in the meantime to let you guys know what the profits are each day. But that's what we got going on. Good talk. I'm really glad we finally got to talk about this and have this conversation, and stoked you guys responded so well to it. All right, much love, guys. There's a lot more to actually unpack with this challenge, but we'll start doing that on the stream as each week goes along. There's a lot to work towards. I'm really, really excited. Hopefully you guys are excited too. Let me know what you think. Do you think that it's an achievable goal, not an achievable goal? Do you think there's anything that I should add or subtract from the challenge and the journey? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe otherwise, and come check out my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/DramaticDegen. I'll leave a link down below. I could be live right now. Don't tell me you came from the YouTube community. Really appreciate that. All right, guys. Much love. Appreciate you. Good luck at the tables. And if I don't see you guys on the Twitch streets, I'll see you guys in the next YouTube video. Cheers.